right, welcome to the first, hopefully of many, Los Angeles Peach Basket videos. We are a website dedicated right now to the Lakers and the Clippers, the best basketball teams in the association. We've been covering them for 3 seasons now. And over those 3 seasons, our team has grown, and we're excited to hear from readers and find out what it is they want. And one of the things that I hear a lot is podcasts and videos. So here we are. This is the first of what I hope is many. What we're going to do today, and hopefully about 15, 20, 25 minutes at the most, we're going to talk about an article that was recently posted by one of our writers where he predicted the Western Conference first round. Actually, he did it all the way through the Western Conference Finals matchups if the season were to end today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that article. We're going to talk to the writer, and we collectively are going to tell him where he's right and where he's wrong. We got a panel that's going to go over that process together. The writer is the first guy I'll introduce. Daniel is the guy who put this article up. And Daniel, just start by introducing yourself.
Hello, I'm Daniel Romo. I've been a writer for LA Peach Basket for almost a year, about 10 months already. I mainly do power rankings and like this kind of stuff, like predictions, and I'm excited to debate them.
Right on. Holden.
What's up? My name is Holden Hartle. I'm the newest addition to the LA Peach Basket. I've just been writing for a couple weeks now. I'm a huge stat head, and we'll see where that leads with my writing.
Right on. The third panel member is the longest tenured writer for Peach Basket. He's actually out of the country, so you might see him. It might take a while to hear him, but we're glad he's here. Tony, tell us about you.
Well, my name is Tony Yashar. I can't even remember when I started writing for basketball, but I've been a writer for quite some time. I'm very glad, honored to be here. I've been absentee for some time, so I appreciate Jose allowing me to come back in. And I'm just a sports head, so I help where I can.
Right on. I think that is who we all are, and hopefully who you are watching. My name is Jose. I'm the editor of Peach Basket. Let's get right to it. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this article that Daniel wrote. The Western Conference playoff predictions if the playoffs started tomorrow, right? We know we're in lockdown. Right now there's no end in sight, but, you know, we can dream. If things started today, or, again, to quote the article, tomorrow, what would things look like? Here's the first game, first round. What we're going to try to do is get through the first 4 games of the first round today. Lakers versus the Grizzlies. Daniel, I'll kick it off to you. Tell us what your prediction was, if you're sticking by it, and what your rationalization was for making that prediction.
The prediction I wrote down was the Lakers with the clean sweep, mainly because LeBron James is one of the best players in the NBA right now, arguably of all time. And he's sidekicked with one of the top 5 best players in the NBA, and Anthony Davis, surrounded by a bunch of veterans, including like players like Rajon Rondo, who has a reputation for showing up most in the playoffs. His nickname is Playoff Rondo. And the Grizzlies, on the other hand, were a team that not many expected to be in the playoffs or even remotely close to the playoff picture. But they fought and clawed, led by John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark, all the young people. But as good as they've been, they are still really young. They have the youngest roster in the entire NBA right now. And I personally do not see anybody on the Grizzlies even remotely capable of guarding someone like LeBron. And Anthony Davis, Jaren Jackson can probably hold him down, but he's still going to put up his 20 points per game. So him and LeBron, around 50 points per game. No one on the Grizzlies can match that, even experience-wise. So I just think the Grizzlies could still steal one maybe after all this time off. They could be the young, energized team and just jump out the gates quick. But I still stick with my prediction: Lakers with a clean sweep.
Okay, first off, I can't believe you pulled out a Rajon Rondo reference. I mean, I get it. I get the history. I get his past. But I think that Rajon Rondo is long gone. But hard to argue LeBron. Hard to argue AD. Holden, what do you think?
I agree with Daniel on a lot of those points. When you're looking through the Grizzlies roster, it's hard to you look through that roster and you be like, no, he can't guard LeBron. No, that LeBron's gonna dunk on that guy. You know, it's like you just keep going through the list. And the Grizzlies are a very exciting young team to watch. You know, and they have all the pieces there, and now at this point, all they need to do is develop. I just don't think that they're developed enough to compete with the veteran-filled Lakers.
All right, so you see it as sweep too?
Yeah, I see it as a clean sweep. Lakers taking all 4. It's going to be easy.
All right. I'll hold my thought. Tony, what do you think?
I think that he brought up extremely valid points. I think one of the key factors that would maybe contribute to Memphis taking a game is if the Lakers get complacent. But not only, I think the fact that there's no one on the Grizzlies that LeBron, because you have to take a look on this Laker team. But not only LeBron, Rajon Rondo, you have Danny Green, you have countless other players on that team that not off experience, but they have championship experience and so I don't even have a chance. But if they were to get a game, it's because the Lakers would get complacent.
All right. Well, listen, we all agree the Lakers are taking this one. I'm not going to argue that. The Lakers are the better team. That's simple. You start and you end there. I just take issue with the sweep, man. I think the Grizzlies are motivated. They're exciting. They're young. And we forget, right, that in this makeshift environment, we're playing without any fans. And we're not playing in FedEx. We're not playing in Staples. We're playing in Vegas after 2-3 months off. I think that's going to energize a younger team. And it's going to benefit a younger team. I see the Grizzlies taking game 1 and freaking everybody out before they upset the Lakers. Not upset them and win the series, but piss them off. And then the Lakers come back and win it all. So I see it as a 4-1. I think they're going to take one.
I feel like that might do a lot for the Grizzlies' mindset next season if they could steal 1 or 2 games in this series, right?
Can you imagine?
Imagine the mindset to be like, right, we're a young team filled with rookies and sophomores that took down LeBron and AD in 2 games. That'll be huge for next season.
Yeah. No, agreed. And I think if I don't even know who the Grizzly coach is, man, but whoever the Grizzly coach, Holden, you probably know, this is your team, right? That guy has got to motivate them that way. Let's steal one, right? It's a building block that's really going to take them far. And I see them taking 1. Let's go to the next one. Now, this one's muddy. This one's definitely muddy. Utah Jazz versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder probably the surprise of the NBA. Nobody expected them to be as good as they are, but they're good. And the Jazz, also good, steady, flying under the radar, but they lost Bogdanovich. So, Daniel, we start with you. What was your prediction? And I will say this was made before the injury. So do you still stick with your prediction, or are you updating it?
My original prediction, I had the Jazz 4-2 because they had 2 20-plus per game points per game scores, and the Thunder had 0, although they had some 19s. And Rudy Gobert, who's one of the best defenders in the entire NBA and could have won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards. But on the other hand, like the Thunder have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's becoming a star before our eyes. Danilo Gallinari, who's always just been a bucket every time he steps on the court. Steven Adams, who's a very solid overall player, rebounding defensively. And then they had, excuse my pronunciation, Luguentz Dort, the two-way player, who just came out of nowhere and started at, I think about 20 games for them this year. And they've had the most comeback wins in the NBA. They have Dennis Schroeder, who's the leading candidate for Sixth Man of the Year, almost putting up 20 points per game. Chris Paul, who's rejuvenated. And the Jazz had some tensions recently with the whole Rudy Gobert situation. Donovan Mitchell wasn't happy about it because he contracted the virus from him. And then Bojan Bogdanovic is now out for the potential season if there is one. I I I had the Jazz winning, but I'm torn between the Thunder and Jazz. I might lean towards the Jazz in 7, a very, very close 7, but I can easily see the Thunder winning it.
Okay. Coin flip. Holden, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely a coin flip going on here, especially with the dysfunction that the Jazz have been going through. There's right, Donovan Mitchell has gone on record and said that he'd like to put the whole nonsense with Rudy Gobert behind them and move on and play basketball. But how likely is that? Could that be? Would Rudy Gobert's minutes be lessened and he'd play less of a role in crucial playoff moments? Like all these questions arise, and you have a really hungry Thunder team. A Thunder team that at the start of the season had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, and now they're here as a 5th seed. Dang. They're going to be out there. They're going to be hungry with a super efficient 3-point guard lineup that's incredibly difficult to stop. I'm taking the Thunder 4-2.
Okay. All right. Tony, Utah Jazz versus the OKC Thunder. What do you think? All right, we might have lost Tony.
Possible.
All right. Feel free to interject at any point. I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts. OKC is a fun team to watch. I like them. Chris Paul just came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting him to be as good as he is at this late of in his career. Point guards don't do that. Point guards tend to fall off the edge quickly. This guy is just as good as he's ever been. And it's been amazing to see this team just kind of rally around that. Shea, the former Clipper, he just looks like a stud in the mix. This is a good team, and they seem to be tight, right? They seem to they have that great camaraderie.
So I like some of Daniel's points during this. I do think Thunder are a becoming team. And even though they are surprised, they do have some veteran player ballers on that team, and Steven Adams and Paul. Chris, I think.
Hi, Tony. I'm gonna put a period at the end of this one, and we'll go on to the next one, and we'll try and give you enough time because we know you can hear us. It's just a little bit of a delay. But I agree with where Tony was going. I mean, the Thunder look good. They're solid. They got good pieces. But what sets them apart for me is their camaraderie, their team chemistry. They've got it. The Jazz don't. Right now, the Jazz are a mess. I think they're just in shambles, and I just don't see them being able to really rebound and to do it quickly should the season start up again. So yeah, man, for me, it's a Thunder 4-2. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's 4-1. This is the Thunder's game to win.
I do have one more thing to add about the Thunder, about the 3-guard lineup Holden mentioned.
Yeah.
I remember before the league suspended play, the Shai Gilgeous, Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, Daniel Gallinari, and Steven Adams had the best net rating in the entire NBA in the fourth quarter, which is and I think it was by a long shot too.
Wow.
That's remarkable. It was a experiment that paid off.
You'd win a couple bets telling people that, because I would not have known that, just like I didn't know the coach of the Grizzlies, who is Taylor Jenkins, and you didn't know it without looking it up either. On we go. Clippers versus the Mavs. I like the Mavericks. I think that Porzingis is he just doesn't. It looks like a shell of himself. But obviously the potential's still there. He's a unicorn, man. He is, Anthony Davis in a lot of ways, a tall guy who can step out, shoot the three. But he just this season, I don't know, he just hasn't looked dominating to me. But Luka, of course, is amazing. So good team, good pieces. But the Clippers, man, they're stacked. They're loaded. They don't have any weaknesses. Man, I'm messed up. this was one I'm excited to talk about, so I just started talking about it. It's what we do. But we always start with Daniel. You wrote this. What are your thoughts, and why do you think?
I originally put down the Clippers win 4-1 in the series because when the Clippers were healthy this year, they were one of the best teams. They were undefeated for the first couple months when they were healthy, and then they recently lost a couple games. But throughout the season, they added Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, who are both very capable scorers off the bench. Lou Williams is doing Lou Williams things off the bench, and him and Montrezl Harrell are doing exactly what they did last year. Kawhi Leonard last year proved that he can show up in the playoffs, could take it to a whole new level. Paul George has struggled with health this year, which might be a little problem, especially given they got some time off, which some would think that'd be better, but also he's out of game shape maybe.
Right.
So it's a little, who knows, but if he is fully healthy, he could decide a series in a heartbeat. He could, if whether he performs well or not, that can decide a whole entire playoffs. But the Mavericks, Luka Doncic was an MVP candidate for the first couple months, but unfortunately he suffered a couple of ankle injuries, so he came out of the conversation. But he also is putting up around like 29 points per game. Porzingis, he has had a great year considering like people like Hayward, Paul George, who all come back from injury, struggle the first year back. He's doing kind of the same thing. He's a little inconsistent, but he's still putting up around like 20 points per game, which is pretty solid. Although he does have some like 2 for 20 shooting nights. But the loss of Dwight Powell is going to be huge. He's not really a well-known name by most casual NBA fans, but he's been a really solid big man for them. So Boban is really good because he's very tall, but he is very tall, which makes him almost like he's easily switched onto point guards on defense, and then he has no chance. And Maxi Kleber has just been a pretty solid big man. I can see the Mavericks stealing 2 maybe behind Luka Doncic, and Porzingis maybe dropping 30 one game, but I don't think there's any chance they ever come close to winning the series. I think the Kawhi could just easily carry these guys past the Mavericks, so I still have the Clippers in 4-1.
All right, Holden?
Yeah, this Mavericks team has some problems, at least for me. What Daniel mentioned in the article, which is really interesting, is the Mavericks' inability to win against a team that's over 500. Right? They have a losing record. That's shaky. That brings up some problems with me, right? And when you look at how the other thing that's really staggering to me is you look at how deep the Mavericks bench is, or not, excuse me, how deep the Clippers bench is, and like Daniel said, these very capable scorers off the bench, and you hold that up against the Mavericks and you go, I just don't know. You know, I think that even if Paul George struggles with health and is maybe out in the first round, I still feel like it's a Clippers clean sweep 4-0.
Wow. All right, I'm not sold that much on the Clippers to the point where I think they're going to sweep this team. I think the key for the Mavericks is Porzingis. All right, Luka's going to be Luka. We know who he is. He's phenomenal. But if Porzingis can have a game like he had when he came up with New York, and he can be who he was, those two together are pretty unstoppable. I could see that happening at least once out of 4 or 5 games. So yeah, I think Daniel got this one right. I think Clippers are going to advance. I think it's going to be 4-1 with a possibility of 4-2, but not likely. But it's going to be a good matchup. I think this is going to be fun, and I'm excited to see Boban again. We'll never diss Boban. Tony, we're going to go ahead and give you about 2 minutes, see if that gap shrinks a little bit. What are your thoughts on Clippers Mavericks?
Clippers in a slot. I don't think big or not. Clippers are just way too deep, too much grit. Paul George and Kawhi is just going to be too strong for them. I don't think that they're.
Boom. I think we agree there. You know, Holden, I'm going to go back to something you said about the Grizz, and if they win, one against the Lakers, how it's going to propel them into next season. I think the Clippers core had that same kind of moment last season. You know, when they played well, they took 2 against the Warriors back when the Warriors were good, and then they add these incredible players like Kawhi and PG and all the other pieces they've added since then. That core knows they're good, and it's tough to beat somebody when they think they're good, and these Clippers know they're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go on, man. Oh, go ahead.
I forgot one more thing, which was kind of a big. I think
Please.
The one thing that could slow down the Mavericks easily, or not one thing, the one person is someone we didn't really mention, was Patrick Beverley. I think since Luka's very young, I think Beverley can get into his head really easily, and like he won't make Luka. Luka will probably still put up 20, but Beverley is known for being a pest, and I think he could give Luka a very hard time.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, it won't be for not trying, right? For lack of trying. Beverly's gonna do whatever he can do, to get Luka's grill for sure. Man, I miss basketball. Just talking about it. All right, last one. These are my least favorite Western Conference teams. That's just my own personal bias. I think the Nuggets are boring, and the Rockets are just, I don't know, man. I just one of those teams I don't like. They're matched up. Daniel, what do you think?
I kind of agree with you. This one was not my favorite series to write about because I'm not really a fan of what the Nuggets are building. I think they're a good team, but they just don't have that one player who can lead them all the way to an NBA Finals. Like Jokic is a star, but not a superstar. Jamal Murray's a solid psychic, but he's never going to put up 25 plus a game. And the Rockets, their play style isn't my favorite, but sometimes it yields out like great results. Like they beat the Lakers, they beat the Clippers, they beat a bunch of good teams with the but so this one I had it Rockets 4-3 because I really was torn between the two teams because the Nuggets aren't really flashy in any way except for Jokic makes an occasional flashy pass, and the Rockets are just 3-pointers, layups, free throws, which is not really a fun type of basketball to watch. So, and Jokic, Harden, and Westbrook with refs, it's just going to be a complaint fest for 7 games. So watching-wise, it might not be the best series to watch, but basketball-wise, it could be a little interesting. If Westbrook plays the way he did when they got rid of Capella, which was near like superstar level, he put up around like 36 or whatever points per game, got whatever he wanted. I think the Rockets easily scrape by. But if Westbrook does what he did in the first half and like forgets how to manage the offense, I think the Nuggets can just squeak by just barely. But I'd still have the Rockets in 7.
All right. Holden, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup because you have two teams that are playing unorthodox styles of basketball. You have you have the Nuggets who have an offense that runs through a big man, something that we haven't seen in a very long time in the NBA. And then you have the Rockets that are playing without a big man. So to see these teams go against each other is kind of interesting. I think the Nuggets have the edge though, and here's why. Jokic is such a capable offensive player, and without someone on the Rockets who's tall enough to defend him in the post, I feel like he's going to have a field day. And you combine that with even the possibility that Westbrook can shoot 20-30% from the field, I feel like that might lead to some troubles with the Rockets. So I have the Nuggets in 7.
Dang, okay. All right.
I have a counter argument real quick.
Go ahead.
Wait, when you say that about Jokic, I just wanted the Rockets stopped like Anthony Davis. Like they did their best about Anthony Davis. They still beat the Lakers. They stopped a bunch of other big men and they still finished to beat him. I'm just I don't think Jokic is capable of carrying. I think the Rockets will stop
himself. But you have Jokic and you're surrounding him with, again, like you said, not superstars. But if you're the Rockets and you see PJ Tucker on Jokic, right, and you're going to send a double team, you're going to pass it out to Michael Porter Jr. You're going to pass it out to Jamal Murray, right? Gary Harris, all very capable of making a wide open 3. I feel like that might get to the Rockets and Nuggets in 7.
All right. Tony, what do you think?
It depends on if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I do think that first of all, when you talk about, I like the point about Jokic and whether or not the Rockets have somebody that they can defend them. Is not Tyson Chandler on their roster? So I mean, you don't need someone to neutralize Jokic offensively and defensively. You just need somebody to D him up. And now, no matter how old Tyson Chandler is, he's one of the best defenders in the game and has been for quite a long time. He has the height and the skill to deal with Jokic, and Jokic is known to be soft. I don't think that the Nuggets have been an up-and-coming team for 4 years now. After being an up-and-coming 4 years, it's almost inevitable that they're not going to reach their potential. Compared with Jokic, to me, is a number 2. He's not a number 1. With you guys, when you say he can't carry, but I think that the Rockets have too much of an inside game in the when I mean outside driving, shooting, and I believe that Russell Westbrook, with the removal of Capella for this particular series, allows him is going to get to the basket because Tyson Chandler, nobody on the Rockets can stop Jokic from getting, decent buckets. He can shoot inside and outside, but he's gonna have to defend somebody when they go to their lineup, and that's gonna pull him out of the allow Russell to drive. Gonna 7 games of that. I don't think that the Nuggets could beat them. I know that the Nuggets have a better series, but they've played in the West. The Nuggets is not one of the best teams in the West. They over the course of 82 games, they'll win their fair share of games, but when they have to go up against the elite of the Western Conference, I think that they have the talent up down the roster to beat a team like have playoff experience, and they just have a stronger ability to penetrate whatever the Nuggets have on defense. And Jokic, he's not a dominant big man. He's a skilled man that can be pushed around.
All right. Listen, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. These are 2 teams I'm not a fan of. These are 2 teams that, the Denver Nuggets, the most exciting thing that happens in a Denver Nugget game is, I think Daniel brought it up, a Jokic pass, which, he makes some pretty amazing outlet passes, or watching Jamal Murray, antagonize somebody. That's the most exciting thing that happens in a Nugget game. The Rockets are exciting. They're fun to watch, but I just don't like the way they play ball. So these 2 teams are really tough for me. What's that? Oh, I thought I heard something. But for me, I think the overriding factor here is going to be the fact that Malone is a really, really good coach, and he's going to have this team ready. D'Antoni, he's a coach who'll get you to the playoffs, but he's not a coach who's going to take you very far in the playoffs, historically speaking. So I think the overriding factor here is going to be the fact that the Nuggets have been good for a long time. The Rockets have been up and down for a long time. This season it hasn't been a good one for them. Westbrook's been all world, and I expect him to be great. Harden, of course, is amazing, but I think it's a Nuggets series, but I also don't think I'm going to probably watch it. Nuggets 4-3 for me. All right. That's everything. I'd like to think we had time for a recap, but I feel like we got a little long. I want to thank the panel. Tony, out of the country, making the time to call. Appreciate it. Holden, appreciate your time. And, of course, Daniel, the author. Great takes, great opinions. I hope we get a chance soon to find out which one of us were right. Next week, we're going to take a look at second round all the way through to the Western Conference Final. We're LA Peach Basket. We're the voice of the fan. We want to hear from you. What do you think? Where were we right? Where were we wrong? Let us know.
Drop a bounce pass, throw down the rim rocker. Lay up off the glass, right past the shot blocker. I follow through like Kobe's is money. You can cash it. For news on LA hoops, come over to Peach Basket. up-to-date sports, post-game reports, debates and play-by-play coming straight off the court. The voice of the fan making noise, causing havoc. Zone a man up, you can ask Peach Basket.